Motion to approve the minutes of the August. Need a second? All in favor? All right. First order of business this evening is signboard review BP 25-006, City of Glens Falls Housing Authority, owner of tax map number 303.17-16-3.2, commonly known as 45 Rich Street, is seeking to install a 20-square-foot freestanding sign on the property pursuant to the City of Glens Falls zoning code, chapter 1E-6F and 3. This will require sign board review and approval. Is there anyone here representing this application?
Reached out. Not here.
I make a motion that we did.
Yeah.
We did. So, you put it on the agenda. Table. We need a motion. I'd like to make a motion to table this application. Lack of testimony, no showing up. Second. All in favor? First order of new business, signboard review, BP 25-007, Eric Unkoff, representing Lawrence and Cooper, Inc., owners of tax map number 303.17-13-9, commonly known as 21-25 Cooper Street, seeking signboard review to install 320 square foot mural pursuant to the City of Glens Falls zoning code, chapter 220-20L. This will require signboard review and approval. Eric? Yep. Mr. Unkoff.
You see that fucking mural on the side of the building? You've got pictures, so is there any questions?
I can.
What's that?
Nope. We have the pictures here that tell us anything about it. Interesting picture.
Yeah, so the muralist was inspired by the Grafton Peace Pagoda, and it's basically a kind of a take on a Buddhist prayer, and the lotus flower. I'm not a Buddhist here, but that's kind of the I think in this case it's symbolizing like enlightenment.
Anyone from the community like to comment on this application? Mr. Sharon? No comments?
No, well,
I love it.
I would like to make a motion that the Glens Falls Sign Review Board approve the special permit application of 73 Lawrence Street, 21 through 25 Cooper Street, for the premises identified specifically for use. The approval is based on
To install the 320 square foot mural.
to install a 320 square foot mural on the side of the building.
21-25 Cooper Street.
Yeah, well, I mean, technically speaking, the mural is probably closer to 73 Lawrence, but I think when we submitted the application, they kind of wanted to have the 21 to 25 address because that's what it's on. It fronts 3 streets, so I don't. I guess that's the legal address.
Need a second.
All in favor? Aye. Approved.
All right, thank you.
Site plan review, SP 25-0010, Joseph and Cheryl, owners of tax map number 309.11-11-3, commonly known as 44 Third Street, receiving site plan review to operate an unhosted short-term rental unit pursuant to the City of Glens zoning code, chapter 220-30A1E5. This will require site plan review and approval. What can you tell us about it?
My wife and I were fortunate to purchase the house about 3 years ago, and we've been running it as a short-term rental for that time. Successfully, as far as we know, with no issues reported to us. We run it rather strictly. We're also in communication with our neighbors regularly. We also use the property, of course, when we can get up here. We do live in New Jersey currently. However, we are now both retiring early, so we're up here at a campground nearby for 5 months of the year. So we're heavily involved in it, even though it's unhosted. So we're requesting the review and approval to continue to run it as a short-term rental for as long as possible.
Anyone from the community like to comment on this application? Mr. Lane?
Question, I just want to talk about
Sure.
Devin Roselle, zoning and planning coordinator for the city.
So is this in one of the zones that does not allow the unhosted?
No, unfortunately, the way the code is written, these are uses, permitted uses upon site plan review, so they have to appear in front of the board.
Is this a sunset?
This is a sunset one.
So this is a sunset? Is there any questioning we need to do if it is a sunset? Just an
They're existing.
Okay.
They still need to get their site plan review, right? All of the short-term rentals are subject to site plan review and the new code went into effect.
Yes, when the new code went into effect, it was written that unhosted and hosted short-term rentals needed to be go in front of site plan for site plan review. They have provided all the materials that we request from the Building and Codes Department, so that's why they're here.
I'm not saying we're going to deny it, I'm just saying they're all, when the new code got enacted by the county council, they are all subject to site plan review. If this were in a zone that did not permit unhosted, they'd also be before the ZBA, correct?
That is correct.
No, because they're permitted, this is in a zone that permits unhosted.
Well, that's it. It's that, but unhosted with the short-term, with the sunset clause would still have to appear in front of the planning board.
So it's unhosted, so it doesn't, so unhosted, this is future reference. The ones that are sunset,
Yes.
it's like they've already got the money.
Well, they have to go in front of the planning board for site plan review again, but the sunset clause is why they don't have to appear in front of the ZBA.
Right, because after sunset period, they go away unless they get ZBA approval.
That is correct.
Okay, other than, I guess, the fact is that
Yes, we had to submit in the plans a diagram of the parking that we also include in our packet for any of the guests, and it's restricted. Of course, you can't park in the street according to the city code overnight, and so that's all communicated to the guests that stay at the house.
Mr. Sherman?
No, other than the sunset, anything you have to add?
We do understand that it falls within the sunset clause.
And again, you've had, since you've been doing this, how long now?
Just about 3 years.
And you've had no issues?
No, and
The neighbors aren't here, so.
No, I regularly check in with the neighbors. They all have our cell phones. I've met them in person. We're friends with them. And I talked to one of the neighbors 2 days ago. I was on site, and they said they still have no problems whatsoever.
Mr. Weaver?
I just had one thing, when reading through the layout here that you give to your tenants when they check in, the mention of the playground across the street, you know, having grown up here my whole life, I don't know the difference between, you know, Sagamore Street Playground in Jackson Heights or Big Cross in Murray Street, because that's kind of the way the school district in the town has always sort of run. But there's knowing the potential of people that could be renting it, you know, whether it be one last hurrah bachelor weekend versus a family with 3 kids, like, you know, it's all possible. It just was like kind of a gut check to me about that being mentioned in the, hey, come on across the street to the school playground. I didn't mention the property or what school it was, but I contacted the school and was like, what do you think about this? And I'm like, we don't love it, but, you know, it's public at the moment. It was just a real kind of like, nobody was really great on that being a flag that was waved. The superintendent was kind of hoping that maybe that could be omitted from that list. As, you know, if they see it, it's there, fine, but to list it as a proper thing, and it's not city park, it's really a school, which is state, and not, it would be nice if that line were stricken just as a.
That's understandable. I can definitely understand that and can agree with you. So that's easy enough for us to take that out. The only reason it was included is because we have had guests inquire before going, you know, is it okay to go across the street? But it's easily taken out. That's not a problem.
Yeah, it's not great either way. Like, I understand that, I sympathize. But I'm thinking of it as in anyone from the world on the internet can come, and it just, anyway, that's my thought.
Not a problem. Understandable. I can take it out.
Very easily done.
In the same vein, you know, that's a walking school district, you know, and do you have to do research to make sure that the people who rent your space are okay to rent, close and dwell in your school district?
Sure. We currently use Airbnb as the booking platform, and they do the background checks. That's part of the platform. So they run the background checks on all of the guests. We don't do that personally.
Okay, but you've got a service that does.
Yeah.
I think everybody else has already brought up my questions. So it sounds like you've been running it for 3 years without any issues, and, you know, late night visits from the cops or anything like that. And I have no architectural comments. That's it for me.
Which I'd like to say thank you for that too. Like, that's just came in hot with a thing I didn't like, but that's nice that it's been so many years so far with nothing. Thank you for running it in a way that's where we're at.
We try to emphasize the way it should be run, and that our neighbors are the priority, because again, we're friends with them, and we want it to be run just like the neighborhood we live in. So.
Thank you.
With respect to seeker, I would classify this as a type 2 action, therefore no further action is required with respect to seeker.
I'd like to make a motion that Glens Falls Planning Board, acting as the Board of Site Plan Review, hereby grant site plan approval for the project identified as SP 25-0010 at 44 3rd Street, as presented at the meeting of September 3rd. Second? All in favor?
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Site plan review, SP 25-0011, Holly Harris, PC of tax map number 309.7-14-4, county known as 84 Hudson Avenue, is seeking site plan review to open an adult use recreational cannabis retail dispensary pursuant to the city of Glens Falls zoning code chapter 220-17C 27. This will require site plan review and approval.
Hello. So, I'm Holly, I own Windy Hill Wellness. We currently operate a cannabis dispensary in Greenwich. I've had a CBD wellness store in the same plaza for the past 2 years. We were granted our recreational license and would like to expand, so we, with my landlord's approval, we moved 2 doors down to a bigger space so we could accommodate more customers and have a much larger storefront.
Is there anyone from the public that would like to speak on this matter? Mr. Reed?
So you're currently, this is at the mall next to the top of the town?
Yes.
Yeah, that little
Yep.
strip mall.
Yep. And we're taking over the end unit where Peak Nutrition was.
And you're already conducting business there?
We had a CBD store there. We closed it. And then we moved down. We were waiting for the state to approve our license.
Do you have additional security for stores?
We are putting in 23 cameras. We will have somebody at the door to make sure everyone that enters is 21. We will have a full-on security system in there.
I guess the only question I have is this meets the requirements as far as you've got 2 cannabis dispensaries almost on the same street. And it needs to
We're
be
2,000, so it has to be 2,000 feet. We're 2,800.
Okay,
Yep, from R&R.
so that's already protected.
Yep.
And like I said, did you say you have your license or is it
We have another license in Greenwich
right?
on another LLC.
So, but do you need a separate license
Yep.
for this one?
Yep.
And do you have that?
Yep. We were granted in July. And the state has already approved this location.
The location.
Yep, we submitted to them to amend it, so we had it for another suite, so that's why we had to come back. So we submitted an amendment for suite 7 and 8. They have submitted to me a letter and it goes before their meeting in September for approval. But it does meet all the requirements.
That says you've got 8 parking spots.
Yep.
You feel like we have,
Yeah, customers are in and out usually within 10 minutes.
yeah.
We'll have online ordering, which makes it even quicker. We've been very successful in Greenwich. Customers don't stay longer than about 10 minutes.
I think that's all.
We're going to have one person at the door. We'll probably have 2 bud tenders, 1 inventory person, so I would say around 45. And for parking wise, the landlord has said at the plaza that they will make additional spaces for us if needed.
Okay, so those parking spots include your employee parking?
Right now, so we have, I think it's in the, it might be in the,
There's 8 parking spots allotted.
yes,
So 4 of those will be taken by employees.
probably. But we also have the ability to have our employees park further down towards the laundromat. So we want to make sure that the customers coming in don't take away from the other businesses.
Anita?
My questions were mostly around parking, and you've sort of answered those, and whether or not you're going to have online ordering. What are your different hours of business going to be?
So we're probably going to do and sometimes that changes based on customer preference. So we're going to do 11 to 8 is what I'm thinking.
Is 8 p.m. the New York State cutoff?
No, I've seen dispensaries open till 9.
Okay.
I don't really I think people should be done by 8. I don't really think they need to be out past 8. You know, it's like, I mean, that's me, maybe because I'm older, but I'm like, if I submitted pictures, you know, we're like a different dispensary, or more like a boutique. It's very classy. When you go into our Greenwich one, you know, I can take pride in knowing that we're probably the only dispensary with 5-star reviews. We have a very just classy, you know, our bud tenders are educational. I'm not into the neon lights, like you walk in and it's like flashing marijuana, come get your.
Right, and you talked in your application about how the windows will be obscured
Yes.
for Office of Cannabis
Yep.
Management, so nobody can see in.
So you cannot see in, you can't see any of the cannabis product from the street. So we're gonna shade them about 3/4 of the way up.
Right.
And then I'm gonna have curtains as well, so you can't see in.
And in terms of signage, you're obviously going to submit something that complies with Glens Falls and then also complies with OCM, so you can have the.
So you only allow 2 signs. Our sign is already coming, it's gonna not changing the name. It's gonna say Windy Hill Wellness. So there's one, on the thing already. You know, what do you? And then there's gonna be one right above us.
If the plan you presented showed 2 doors,
Yep.
I think you have to have a separate entrance and exit, and I've often seen a vestibule at the entrance so that there's control there.
So-
Are you confident?
So the thing is, when you walk in, there's no live product anywhere. We're gonna have empty displays. So the way we do it in Greenwich is they'll come up, we're gonna scan them to make sure that they're 21. Glens Falls is a little bit different than, you know, my little Greenwich location. So we're gonna make sure they're 21 when they walk in. They'll go up to the counter and then they show their license, and then they're gonna go out the second door. So my plan is the first door closer to heading towards the laundromat side would be the entrance, and the one towards Talk of the Town would be the exit.
I don't have any other questions.
A letter was submitted dated August 17th, 2025, to the planning board members. This letter regards the application for Holly Harris at 8 Wilmington Avenue, also known as 130 Broad Street, Suite 7 and 8. Ms. Harris signed her original lease in 2022 and has been an exceptional tenant.
Grant Architect to grant site plan approval for the project identified as 84 Holly Harris, lessee of 84 Hudson Avenue, as presented at the meeting on September 3rd, 2025. Mr. Sherrill?
Is there a second?
The guy you say? All in favor?
Thank you.
All right. Site plan review, SB 25-0012, Mike Girardi, lessee of tax map number 310.5-1-15, commonly known as 100 Glens Street. Is seeking site plan review to open a golf simulator tavern pursuant to the City of Glens zoning code, chapter 220, 19C6. This requires site plan review and approval.
Good evening. I'm Peter Huffman. I'm the owner of the building. Alongside. I'm Peter Huffman. I'm the owner of the building 100 Glen Street in Glens Falls. Mike Gerard, the owner of the business.
Oh, hi. Yes, I'm Mike Girardi.
Wayne Samuscott. So we're here tonight to ask for approval to change. The existing use was Trusco Bank for 20 years. We restored the building 20 years ago. And Trusco moved out, and Mike wants to make a tavern and golf simulators. He's going to have 2 large simulators in the space. As a landlord, I think it's an unusual business for Glens Falls, and I think they're in Saratoga now and making a move up here, and I think it's an interesting business for our city, and I think it fits the location.
Anyone from the public would like to comment on this application? Mr. Chairman?
I have a lot. I think it's a good use for that building. It's a member for approval or the process for that.
Yes, we are.
I see you're going to have snack foods, and that's kind of the applications, so you don't have any cooking appliances, so you're not going to have any regular cooking for food purposes.
Correct. Yes.
That's all I have.
Where you're having food, are you going to install like a full kitchen in there?
It won't be a full kitchen. We don't have a hood in there, so we're using a convection oven for the wings is something we're gonna do. Outside of that, we're doing sandwiches, hot dogs, so hot dog rollers, stuff like a snack, more like snack food.
I mean, do you think is the primary business going to be the golf simulator or the kind of restaurant or?
The golf simulators, yeah.
And the parking, I know the parking over there is a kind of sign per se for the different.
We have 2 buildings that share that parking lot. There's 100 parking spots. Most of their business will be at nights and weekends, so therefore it's even a better fit because of that purpose.
Well, this is in the CCD, right? Central Commercial District, so therefore the parking restrictions are not required.
That's all I have.
My questions were asked already. I mean, you're basically going to be a tavern, you're going to be a bar, with a golf simulator. And then, I was also wondering about food, just to know if there was a kitchen that would put smells out, but it sounds like it's going to be pretty minimal.
Correct. Yes.
I like golf simulators, I'm terrible.
We do lessons too.
I figured. I don't have any other questions.
Saratoga. That's still going to remain open?
Yes, it will.
You guys are doing very well there, so we track that something which is great. Coming to our community, seeing the plans you have set up for club storage, so some of your members can actually do good clubs there.
Yes. Yep.
Okay. Mr. Alvarez, and I believe that a lot of stuff, will be more later in the day, so the parking lot's less. There's an issue there. For the kitchen, the way this is oriented, it's going toward the other building, correct? It's on that kitchen's on that side, so
Well, there's no ventilation to the outside, Art.
we're not gonna have like fryers with the
No.
wood or anything?
No.
I really don't have a whole lot for it. It's another space rented downtown. I think it's gonna be, just something more diverse for the community.
With respect to seeker, I would classify it as a type 2, as there are no substantial changes to the existing structure or facility. You're not changing the outside at all.
No.
So therefore, no further action is required with respect to seeker.
So this is. I'd like to make a motion. Glens Falls Planning Board, acting as the acting as Board of Site Plan Review by grant, site plan approval for the project identified as Mike Girardi, EC tax map number 310.5.1, at 100 Glens Street, as presented at the meeting of September 3rd, 2025. Second? Second. All in favor? Aye. Good luck. Thank you. Christine B., owner of tax map number 302.16-9-6, Colleen Thomas, 480 Glen Street, seeking site plan review to operate a posted short-term rental unit pursuant to the City of Glens Falls zoning code, chapter 220-15D 13. This requires site plan review and approval.
Good evening. Thank you for your time. I have 480 Glen Street as a short-term rental. I've been operating for over 3 years. Been Superhost pretty much since day one, 5-star ratings the whole time. And statistically, just over 200 average guests per year. No problems or complaints. I get a lot of traveling nurses. I do some longer term. Also, I had some cultural exchange professionals that stayed for a few months. I've had medical students, people here working for the government, a lot of couples that came to shop for houses and actually bought in the Glens Falls area, and really just commented on the experience at my house, that they would have their company relatives come and stay at my place because they liked it so much and they felt really at home.
Okay, is there anybody from the community that would like to speak on this application?
My name is Neil Leibowitz. I reside at 8 Grand Avenue, Glens Falls, which abuts the subject property. First of all, I want to say that Christine and her husband have been very good neighbors, and I have not encountered any problems with any of their short-term rental tenants during the time they have been open. She's put a significant amount of work into the property. That said, I would like to raise some issues here that, while they relate to this property too, also may guide the planning board in evaluating future short-term rental applications. To begin with, having a less restrictive review is appropriate for these types of applications, although they might benefit from some scoping by getting some supplementary documentation to the exhibits, or rather to the application, which I will address briefly as I get into my remarks. Now, this particular property does have a history. And while at one time it was a single-family home, being in a cultural professional zoning district, it then became occupied by an accountant who had his practice on his house. It became a day spa, and then it went back to being a single-family residential property. In 2019, it was purchased by Ilhan Bazker. And during that period, he surreptitiously turned it from a single-family residence without a building permit into a multi-occupancy unit, which he indicated to me was going to be used as a Airbnb, to use somebody's trademarked name. Nothing was done about it, although the Building and Codes Department was aware of some of the issues on it. Mr. Boskert in 2021 then went before the Planning Board to seek expansion of his parking area from 6 parking spaces to greater, which would have surrounded my house almost with parking. And he was not proposing any screening or anything. The zoning application, or rather I should say the site plan application for the Boskert project happens to be in your record, and I would urge you to read it. I did not bring all the documentation from that, but I think you would benefit from some of the analysis in it. That site plan review application is 21-002, and for the record, I'm going to give you a copy of his site plan application, a rather lengthy letter that I wrote to the planning board at that time, which contains both evidentiary statements and legal analysis of the zoning code, and also for the benefit of Christine, a survey map of the property that was done when it was originally subdivided. And so I'm not sure who acts as the clerk, but I will give these for the record. The analysis that was made at that planning board hearing in 2021 was that in essence the facility, the house, was really fits the definition of a hotel. Now, since then, the city has changed the zoning ordinance, adopting changes allowing short-term rentals. That's a positive, yes.
Mr. Leibowitz, now, I understand that you're sort of walking us through the history of how this house became what it is now, an Airbnb, and the process at the planning board level and the city level. Do you have other comments related to this applicant getting approval for?
Yeah, they do bear on it. What I was going to say is that, as you know, under the short-term zone, short-term rentals are permitted in the cultural professional district now. There are 2 types, either unhosted or hosted. Now, you look at what the permit provides for. It says that residential private property owners may use their dwellings for short-term rentals. Key to that portion of the ordinance is that it's using a possessive pronoun. So it needs to be their dwelling. Now, as I mentioned, there are two types of short-term rentals. Unhosted, where the owner does not have to be present during the short-term tenant's occupancy, and hosted, where the owner has to be present. Now, the key thing is, how do you interpret the phrase present? In statutory construction, I'm a lawyer, obviously, unless the term is defined in the statute, the ordinance by the legislative body, you use the plain and ordinary meaning of the words. And the word present as an adjective means that they have to be there at the site. And I'm going to give you two dictionary definitions of present for the record.
But also the ordinance was created and passed by the common council, not by the planning board. So if it's concerned with the ordinance, it would be a common council conversation with the planning board.
Except that it's the legislature that wrote the ordinance, and that is what you need to implement and interpret. Interpret in the sense that you are a quasi-judicial body besides being regulatory. Now, with regards to Christine's application, there are some inconsistencies, if I read it, that should be able to be resolved by her. On the first page, it indicates that there is only one short-term rental there. That's the second blank in the document, unless that was down. And then on the other hand, below that, or rather I should say attached to the document, are diagrams showing 5 rooms, labeled as such, along with kitchen areas and restrooms. And there is no definition of what the use of those 5 rooms are. So the question becomes, what is the occupancy level of this structure? Do we have a certificate of occupancy for this structure? Does it meet building code and fire safety measures? These are items that supposedly go through the building and codes department, and they should be part of the package here, so that you know that you can set a occupancy level for the structure, which is not mentioned in here, parking for the structure on the property, and those items are not addressed.
I'm trying to pull it up.
As I say,
The board is not going to enforce building code per se. The board is not going to speak to whether or not a building complies with fire code.
the planning board doesn't, but the planning board should be considering that as part of its review. Sure.
I don't know if this will potentially alleviate any of these concerns, but both the fire department and the building and codes department has to do an inspection to sign off after they are approved, once they've gone through this process, which is documented online as well. Okay, thank you.
I'd also like to add, in your paperwork, you do see that I have fire extinguishers. I have a sign indicating the occupancy of the house. And it is one unit. It's rooms inside the unit. It works out very well for my traveling nurses and things like that. So I don't see that it's a problem. I've been operating with no issues. And any concerns that Mr. Leibowitz has, he certainly, can direct me. As far as that, I bought the house, it was already done. If Mr. Burkert didn't get his permits or whatever, I don't know any of that. I passed inspection when I bought the house. That's no relevance.
How many rooms do you rent?
I have 5 rooms for rent. And I do through Airbnb strictly, so they're all vetted. And,
And our code does define hosted short-term rental, unhosted short-term rental,
correct,
and short-term rental. That was put into the code definitions.
right,
So you are on premises when people come and stay in the
Yes.
property.
yes,
That is hosted.
yes,
And there's 5 bedrooms.
yes.
In addition to your,
Well, the private space is on the 3rd floor, that's where my daughter lives, and then also hosted does consider that you have long-term tenants. So if you have a long-term tenant, you're also considered hosted, even if you're not on the property 24/7.
Not according to our code.
Okay, because that was on the paperwork that I filled out.
what's considered long-term?
More than a month?
More than 30 days.
Yes.
This is right next to the barber shop.
Yes, that's correct.
And then the 3rd floor?
Yes, it's a finished 3rd floor, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, it's all finished off, it's a whole apartment. And there's ample parking, there's six spots for parking. It's all been paved. I had the house painted, put a new roof on it, had the parking lot paved. And the spaces are drawn out, you know, they're lined.
Does the show us some stuff?
No, it's a permitted use in a cultural professional district. It is a permitted use, both hosted and unhosted. 220-15 to 13.
Mr. Chairman, you mentioned long-term. So are there any long-term rental? Do you do both at this location?
I have done both,
Is that
yes, I
also
have.
a whole different part of the code?
Well,
Short-term rentals.
well, I didn't really even think of them as being long-term until I was talking to the code department about my, you know, I had, sorry, I can hold me dry. I had a medical student, and he was there for 6 weeks. I had another gentleman who worked with government, and he was there for about 6 months. So I've had people in and out, you know, the cultural exchange professionals, they were there for about 4 months. So,
That falls under open house, which is a different type of occupancy than short-term rental occupancy. Just so you're aware of that, so if you're applying to the planning board here for a short-term rental occupancy,
okay,
but if you're using that for multiple purposes, which includes a long-term
okay,
rental, that falls under a whole different section of the code, which I'm sure you have to do in the code department
okay,
regarding that.
A short-term rental is less than 30 days.
okay. Yeah, I do it, so I do occasionally get some of these.
And there's caveats to that, that they allow a little leeway in short-term rental because of that. So once you go into a rooming house and some of the other issues you're going to have with long-term rentals, there's different code sections that come into play,
Okay,
which you're going to have to meet.
okay.
Do you have like a maximum number, you've got rooms or number?
Yes,
All right, so when I come to your place on a short-term rental, do I just rent a room
yes,
with access to a common kitchen?
yes. One of the rooms has its own private kitchen. It's like an in-law suite, so it has a private kitchen, but the rest of the rooms share a kitchen.
Do you have a maximum occupancy in regards to like parking concerns for vehicles?
The maximum occupancy would be 12. There's 6 parking spots. I've never had an issue with someone not having a place to park. Some of them, you know, don't have a vehicle. They might use Uber. They're from the city, you know, they'll use Uber or cabs, public transportation.
That's all.
Mr. Reed?
Dealt with previously.
Yeah, my only, I guess if a separate set of criteria needs to be met for long-term,
Okay,
then that would be something that we circle back with them on.
correct.
And my only other questions have to do with property, which you've answered, and, you know, 3 years, I'm guessing the cops don't get called.
Oh, I really enjoy doing it. I really do. I meet so many interesting people, and I've retired.
Right, you live there.
Yeah,
and
and
these people
I've
are coming.
retired, you know, and I've really just enjoyed, if I didn't have something to do, I'd lose my mind. But it's really been an enjoyable experience, and people love the area, you know, and I've really enjoyed doing it.
I don't have any comments.
With respect to seeker, I would classify it as a type 2 action, and further action is required by the board.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, Glens Planning Board, I'd like to make a motion that the Glens Planning Board, acting as the board of site plan review, hereby grant site plan approval for the project identified as Christine McGee, owner of tax map number 302.16-9-6. The location of 480 Glen Street, City of Glens Falls, as presented here at the meeting on September 3rd, 2025. Can I get a second on that motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Thank you so much, I appreciate your time.
Architectural review AR 25-0. Site plan review SB 25-0014, Flomatic Corporation, owners of tax map number 309.1.
Can I flip over and do Gaston Road?
Yep.
Thank you.
We're going
Just
to,
like your dog out here.
because of time constraints, we're just going to flip this, take this one first. Site plan review SB 25-0015, Technology Associates of Northern New York, owners of tax map number 309.27-4-4.2 and 309.27-4-3, commonly known as 21 Pine Street and 25 Pine Street, are seeking site plan review to expand their existing facility by 1,804 square feet for the purpose of additional offices, exam rooms, and support space pursuant to the City of Glens Falls zoning code chapter 220, 15D. Just one, this requires site plan review approval. Also, this architectural review, AR 25-006, Technology Associates of Northern New York, owners of tax map number 309.27-4-2 and 309.27-4-3, commonly known as 21 Pine Street, 25 Pine Street, are seeking architectural review to expand their existing facility by 1,800 square feet, first of all, additional offices, exam rooms, and support space. Pursuant to the City of Glens Falls Code, Chapter 220-15E1, this requires architectural review and approval.
Thank you. For your records, my name is Ethan Hall, principal of Brzezinski Hall Architecture. With me tonight is Dr. Herlihy, principal with 25 Pine LLC. The practice, the owners, 25 Pine LLC, recently purchased the property at 21. It was the former offices for Dr. Spielberger. And there was an apartment on the upstairs floor. In the back of the property, there's a shed and a garage. So all of those are coming off the property. The intent is to expand the gastroenterology building to the north onto the new property and provide some new parking on here, as well as some space for future expansion of the practice onto that lot. The two lots are in the process right now of being merged into one common deed, so that property line in the middle goes away, and we've set the building so that we meet the setbacks to both side and rear. As far as the actual building goes, this is the interior portion of the interior of the building, and we showed a portion of the interior of how it will be expanded. The main thing I think that you'd be interested in is the exterior of the building. The idea is it has a mansard now that hides all the rooftop equipment. That mansard will be continued onto the new portion of it. The brick that's on the building now expands out onto the new portion, so it looks exactly like the other portion of it. And the window treatments are exactly like the window treatments that are on the building now. We're just taking that building, pulling the wall out, and making it a little bigger.
Windows match, bricks match. Can you go back to, oh yeah, there you go, that one right there. So, you mentioned possible future expansion after that?
They set this building aside, or we set the parking back on the north side of the building, so that if, at some point in the future, if they want to expand the operatory area, we can expand that parking.
Right now, it's that one wing.
Right now, it's just this 1,800 square foot wing.
Putting the 6 parking spaces right there, 5 parking spaces right there. Dumb question, so is this part of Iron Gate?
No. Gastroenterology, GI practice is separate.
Building 5, we used to be part of the campus, we purchased the building
Got it.
6 or 7 years ago, and so we're separate. 5 Iron Gate is where we have our practice, and we also have an endoscopy center where we perform the colonoscopies and all that.
Right.
And that's what we're talking about. Potentially in the future, we might want to expand the endoscopy center, which is on the Pine Street side of our building 5.
So for patient parking, you mentioned plenty of parking where? In
That way on that whole lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what is there going to be a pedestrian connection between?
Between the Iron Gate Center and this is just entry for staff.
Okay,
And this is mainly parking for staff.
Everybody walks in the front, so they're all parking over there anyway.
All patients.
That's the doctors over there on the
Yeah, all
side.
patients come in either this door to 5 Iron Gate, or they come in this end door down here to the end of
Okay.
I can't say that word. We want to change that. Endoscopy center.
Are you going to do how are you going to, what are you just going to do on, excuse me, what are you going to do on the street between the parking and the road? It's pretty little garden now, I'm just curious, any planting? Lawns, fence?
Right now, once everything that's there comes down, it'll just be lawn and grass on that area. Yeah, it'll be continuing the landscaping that's in the front. They do a nice job with the landscaping at Iron Gate. It's kind of, all around the whole piece.
Lighting on the outside, anything?
The only lighting is at the exterior door.
Okay.
And that's a canopy light up underneath it's a recessed door.
And then you said all the mechanical equipment is
On the
hidden
roof.
behind the mansard roof up there?
Correct.
I don't have any other comments. Or questions?
I think it's going to be an improvement.
Nothing concerning this board, this project. I was a patient with Jane Mike for years, and Jane treated that like it was a dollhouse handed down through generations. Very sad to see it bulldozed under.
Yeah,
And when I got to that point in my packet this month, I was like, I gave her a call, and she was like, so I'm very sad about that. I just want that to go out in the public. Because it's a beautiful property. But I'm also a patient, and I know what it's like to get scheduled to get a procedure there. So
It's been, the existing building, the existing office building, it's been vacant for a little over a year now, and it's starting to fall into some disrepair. It'll take a lot to keep that up, to keep that building back up.
Is there anybody from the public that would like to speak on this application?
I have some questions. I live right across from here, so could you just show me what you're aiming to do?
Sure. So this is the existing office building over here. This is Pine Street.
Where is
Lauren, they switched.
They switched.
They switched, so after this one, we'll be.
We switched the order.
You're fine.
Doc,
You said
tested it out of
it.
here. It jumps in ahead of Mark. Red church, wrong pew.
With respect to seeker, I would classify this as an unlisted action. The board has to review the short environmental assessment form. The applicant has completed part 1, we need to review part 2. Number 1, will the proposed action create a material conflict with the adopted land use plan or zoning regulations? No, you have to speak. Will the proposed action result in a change in the use or intensity of the use of land? No. Will the proposed action impair the character or quality of the existing community? traffic or affect existing infrastructure for mass transit, biking, or walkway? No. Will the proposed action cause an increase in the use of energy and it fails to incorporate reasonably available energy conservation or renewable energy opportunities? No. Will the proposed action impact existing public-private water supplies? No. Public-private wastewater treatment utilities? No. Will the proposed action impair the character or quality of important historic, archaeological, architectural, or aesthetic resources? No. Will the proposed action result in an adverse change to natural resources such as wetlands, water bodies, groundwater, air quality, flora, or fauna? No. Will the proposed action result in an increase in the potential for erosion, flooding, or drainage problems? No. Will the proposed action create a hazard to environmental resources or human health? No. Based upon the board's review of the Part 2 impact, the board could issue a negative seeker recommendation. So you need a motion for seeker. Want me to help you with it? So, on behalf of the chairman, he would like to make a motion that the Glens Falls Planning Board hereby accepts lead agency status for Gastroenterology Associates of Northern New York, commonly known as 21 Pine Street and 25 Pine Street. The board has determined the action to be unlisted action, has reviewed the short environmental assessment form, and upon documentation and discussion, issues a negative declaration. You need a second.
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 All in favor?
Perfect, thank you.
I'd like to make a motion that the Glens Falls Planning Board, acting as the Board of Architectural Site Plan Review, hereby grant architectural site plan approval for the project identified as Gastroenterology Associates of Northern New York, located at 25 Pine Street, Glens Falls, New York, as presented at the meeting of September 3rd, 2025. Get a second? All in favor?
Excellent. Thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
Now we have site plan SB 25-0014 Philmatic Corporation, owners of tax map number 309.16-23-1, commonly known as 15 Pines Island, represented by Ethan Hall, are seeking site plan review to expand their existing facility by 50,400 square feet for the purposes of storage, manufacturing, and additional office space pursuant to the City of Glens Falls zoning code, chapter 220-21B. This requires site plan review and approval. Architecture review, AR 25-005. Philmatic Corporation, owners of tax map number 309.16-23-1, commonly known as 15 Pines Drive, represented by Ethan Hall, seeking architectural review to expand their existing facility by 50,400 square feet for the purposes of storage, manufacturing, and additional office space pursuant to the City of Glens Falls zoning code, chapter 220-21D. This will require architectural review and approval.
Good evening. For your records, Ethan Hall, Principal of Brzezinski Hall Architecture. With me tonight is Mark Gerard, Operations Manager, Plant Manager at Flowmatic. Just for clarification, sketch plan tonight. We don't have a full submission package for the civil engineering, so we will be back. Yeah, tonight. I just wanted to bring the board up to speed with what we've got, what we're planning. We have environmental design partnership is on board doing the civil engineering. They've dug test pits. We're doing test borings for the earthquake controls. They're on site doing that information and getting that stuff done so they can do proper stormwater management, and we can get all this stuff done that'll affect that. Just for to get things oriented, this is Pines Island Drive down here. The former Natick building, which is now Praxis, is over here. This is Andritz Ulstrom property over here, and this is Polly Beaman Lane. This is a city-owned dead-end street. This is city-owned property, city-owned street here, and David Place is also city-owned, but it only goes as far as Praxis. So this is the existing building, the existing Phlomatic building. There is a small building out back that will be taken away as part of this. It's a pole barn building. The main parking, of course, is in front of the building, and there's a small gazebo in front of the building. Right now, the traffic flow circulation comes in Polly Beaman Lane, comes into for the people, for the staff that work there, and for anybody visiting the plant, they come in here, and this is the main parking. All truck traffic comes up here, and the loading docks are in the back. Okay. The intent is to expand the building basically to the south towards the Praxis building, which will take up some of the space that's over here. We would expand the parking in front of the building for the additional staff and for additional visitors. That would go onto the grass area between the parking lot and what is Pines Island Drive now. The truck traffic does continue to the back. We are adding 3 loading docks on the new part of the building, and the loading docks that are on the existing building will stay. So all of our truck traffic stays in the back of the building. For firefighting purposes, we've provided a drive that goes all the way around the building, so we now have access to all 4 sides of the building. Because right now, they really only have access to 2 sides of the building. We are looking at adding a hydrant back here, because I think our next nearest hydrant is here. There is one on the corner down here. So we're going to be looking at adding one on the back side of the property back there. As far as the facade and the use of the building, these are the floor plans of what's here. This is all of the existing office space. This is 2-story office. This is manufacturing space here. Their big furnace for doing the powder coating and stuff is in this portion of the building. This is warehousing. But you have the big test pool that's here, and there is some space over the top. On the second floor of the building, there's just offices in the front portion. Currently, the second floor of the building is not accessible. There's no elevator in the building. It was built before accessibility was a requirement. Part of what we're adding with this building, when we do this, the main entry will come down here as opposed to where it is now. We are adding an elevator down here, which will make the entire building now accessible. We're bringing a walkway from the new portion back over to the existing second floor, so we'll get that in. This all becomes warehousing and storage manufacturing. Manufacturing expands into this space, and what takes place here now comes down to here. We are providing an interior cafeteria space, and then upstairs space for the training area, and then this is all this 2-story space down here. As far as the exterior of the building goes, the intent is to mimic the big pieces of glass that are here, and to expand that across the front. This is the part that faces Pines Island Drive. The side of the building will be standard pre-engineered metal building siding. This is the side that all the stormwater comes off of. They have a big gutter system that runs along the whole building, so we're capturing that, getting it into the ground so that it doesn't sheet flow across anything. From the back of the building, obviously the windows there. And then this is the side of the building that includes the existing building here. This is our 3 loading docks down here. So the intent is to kind of keep the feel of how the building looks now, just expand it down and continue it to the south. There will have to be some lights just for firefighting purposes. We're going to have a little bit of light.
But not as big as their neighbors.
No, as big as
Further down the island, on Pines Island.
on Praxis. Yeah, no, nothing like that. These would just be some wall-mounted lights that have to shine down. So,
And there's quite a buffer from this to.
correct. Yeah. So on the site plan. So you're over here somewhere on the other side of the canal? Yeah. No, not this way. So right now, Niagara Mohawk has an easement through here, and there's a bunch of trees that are on the opposite side of that between the Niagara Mohawk easement and the canal. This is the feeder canal here. we're not clearing anything on this side of that. So just this part and all this tree stays in here. So the only clearing is just for us to make the new stormwater management, the new driveway, and the building expansion itself. No, no. Nope. Nothing changes back there.
This is supposed to be good.
It is very good.
We're good there.
Nina?
So you're gonna have 3 more truck bays. How much more additional truck traffic do you anticipate?
It won't change. The truck traffic won't change. I mean, obviously, if we sell more and more truck traffic. Right now, we have 3 main carriers, and that won't change.
What do you have now? You got,
Well, you're gonna have more truck bays, right?
we're adding 3 bays, but it's mainly separating shipping and receiving.
Yeah, that's all.
Right now,
Just more flow coming through here. Right now, we have everything coming in one.
right now everything comes in here.
Gotcha.
And this helps for us to have, you know, receiving coming in here, shipping going out here, or vice versa, however they.
As opposed to in and out from the
Right.
city.
From the
Right
same
now,
day.
If you go down that, you may find trucks waiting on the side of the road, waiting to come into there. Right, this will alleviate that. This will
Have you done any analysis or asked any questions or taken a look at how this might impact water demand, increased water demand?
Shouldn't change that at all, because this is really just for warehousing. We're actually taking what's there, and the warehousing, which they're like bursting at the seams for, and this is moving that in there, and then the expansion of the manufacturing really just takes what's already there and moves it and gets.
So you're expanding your manufacturing. Yeah, I mean, that's my question. You're gonna manufacture more. And I'm just wondering if that,
Well,
if you anticipate that impacting wastewater or water demand.
I mean,
No, we-
2 bathrooms.
Yeah, they really don't. There's no water used in the
No.
manufacturing process. It's pretty much welding, grinding, and dye stuff outside of that.
Rinsing.
No,
That's all contained. It's all self-contained within the CNC machines.
And then the cladding on the outside. So right now there are the big stone panels.
That's on the original building.
Are you gonna mimic those on the front of the?
So no, right now this portion of the building, the original building, is the precast tilt-up panels.
Right.
When they put this second edition on, that's a metal panel.
Right.
That looks like they took that, but it is a metal panel and it does sit back from the face. And it would be our intent to keep those metal panels going across the face of the building, yes.
And that's gonna go all the way around. I mean, it's
It
basically the
changes.
same facade.
It changes to a metal panel, but it is a vertical metal panel. It's just a little bit different panel. The ones in the front are nice, big, wide panels
Yeah.
to match. What they did when
Gonna
they,
match the color?
yes, yeah, all the colors, everything will be the same. It's just an expansion of that front facade.
I keep seeing the big precast panels.
Yeah, they did that with the original building. The second edition that was done 2016, 2017. I think it was finished 2020. That's got the wide metal panel, and that looks like it looks like the tilt-up panel, but it's actually.
And then my only other question was related to lighting, site lighting. So wall packs facing down,
Correct.
cut off.
Downcast with cutoff. That's one thing that.
Parking lot lighting?
That the expansion of that, we would probably just put heads on the opposite side of the poles that are already there to light the new parking. We may have to put a couple of lights around the outside of the building, but again, those would shine towards the building, not out from the building. And that's just on the firefighting access roads.
I don't have any other questions.
Mr. Sherman?
I think it's a schedule. So we tried it. Some of them might feel a little bit. It's pushing 30 feet, so I'm thinking it's probably going to be around 30 feet. So the point is 30 feet more, but you're required to have an aerial access road. And that one looks like a 20-foot road.
This is 20 foot.
it'll be 26 minimum for aerial access.
So make sure.
If you work with the fire department, that's okay.
Yeah, Aaron did send us a note about that.
Yeah,
So,
so we'll kick it up to 26, and then return radius will change too, so I just have to look at return radiuses. They should have schematics in the warehouse, I think exactly the radius. Probably not. The only one I was concerned with, that road in there, is the one at the end of parking spaces.
This?
So to make turn around those parking spaces and come back in.
Oh, you mean you should be in here and have to turn and come back?
Because that's, so you need access from both ways, so that would be my only concern with that access.
Yeah,
Which,
if we had to.
it may be fine, we're just gonna have to look at the turn radius, or you can bump it out, or bump it into a straight path.
Yeah, potentially. This is kind of the outfall of stormwater management over here. The stormwater management that's in place right now rarely, if ever, sees any water that stays in it. I mean, it's a sponge down there, and the water, they had a hard time making water stay in the ground when they were doing the test pits the other day. So it absorbs a lot of further back. But again, EDP is working on the final paths for that. And what we've done is we've maintained a 60-foot clear aisle all the way around. So by the code, that's a requirement for the unlimited F2 space.
As long as you're closer to 15 or more than 30.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think this is another application you guys put an addition on a couple of years ago, it was great. You know, looks like they're gonna continue the scene across the front. There is a tree buffer between the practices, there's a tree buffer between you and the canal, so you really are not gonna be impacting anything. I was concerned at first, just like that woman was, praxis is like a, you know, it's like a beacon for light for the airport, I think. You know, and I know properly done, that might be a problem, so, you know, I think this is another great project. You know, it's a great land. You do have that natural stormwater going towards practice, from the spot. The only thing I'm concerned about is that I ride my bike down there all the time, and you have 5 deer that are always out front. I know. If one of, I put one on, it's like, fuck. It is amazing. I got pictures of myself. I see them all the time. No, I think it's gonna be a great project.
I know the building pretty well.
Jack's pretty familiar with it.
Friendly raising.
Mr. Reed? Mr. Gray?
Yeah.
Everything's, looks like it's covered. Looking for the place to come back.
Yeah, we'll have a submission made in October, so we'll be back in November.
In November?
Yeah, we will, today was the cutoff for the next application, so, and EDP's still working on stormwater management, things like that, so we'll be back to see you in November. Great, thank you very much. Thank you.
SD 25-002, Craig and Cheryl Burrows, owner of tax map number 309.16-22-456, company number 6810-12 Newberry Street, represented by Timothy Messer, Esquire, seeking a lot line adjustment in parcel A, 309.16-22-456, and parcel B, 309.16-22.314.2, consolidate multiple lots pursuant to the municipal zoning code, chapter 192-5B5. This requires planning board review and approval.
Tim Schuler with Phillips, Fitzgerald and Collin, here to represent Craig and Cheryl Burrows on this lot line adjustment. Basically taking 5 lots and combining them with other lots to create, in the end, 2 lots. So you have the submission. I don't think there's much more to say, but certainly if you have any questions, let us know.
Well, it's
So which 5 lots, I'm just curious, because I could. So 1, 2, and then 3, 4, 5, is that how it's gonna be?
Oh, okay. So you take the one, I've been to this site, the one behind my house, those two is
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
right. And then the other three are combined.
No, it's these 3 here.
Yeah, sure.
And this one is going to the neighbor up front.
Yeah, up front, correct. So that one is Newberry Street. Wait, so where do they go with Newberry Street?
We'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
Okay.
Not sure. Yeah, it's a
I
paper
know,
street.
I haven't seen it, so it's just. Okay, so this is, then there's those. Would anyone like to speak on this issue?
Hi.
Please speak. Please
I
speak.
don't mean to bring apart a problem. I live at 3 Feeder Bend, which is in the recently 5-year development. And our numbers for my land survey are different than the survey that you have in front of you for the lines.
Okay,
So-
this was made aware of us before the meeting, we talked about this. There's
Lauren
different
Thompson.
numbers, like this. So Van Newsman Steves is a surveyor for both things from 5 years ago and from this. And this line doesn't have the same numbers on each of the drawings. So therefore, I think that we need to have that rectified
Using the Steve's needs to figure out what is the exact number.
before we do anything.
Mr. Burrows spoke with Matt Steves. I didn't know this was an issue when I was walking in.
Upon speaking with Matt Steves just before this meeting, he told me that on the official maps that he has in his records, both of those dimensions are correct. The map that she had might have been a preliminary set before the house was built, before the development was built out. But on the official map sections, both those dimensions line up.
What's the nature of the discrepancy?
My house lot is not a standard square rectangle. It's like a chiseled stone with very hard lines to determine. I am. The concern is that when I purchased my house, I didn't know that the land behind me had any ownership. It also didn't say it did on my deed plot. I didn't know that that area could be changed in any way. In the last weekend and the holiday, trees were taken down and brush, which could be on their property, it probably is, and that is okay if it is. But if our lines are different and we're thinking one thing and they're thinking another, as well as when I purchased my house, we didn't remove any more hedgery or anything, any more trees. It was already established for me as a new home and a new plot, which we had grass put on and a play gym for my autistic son and all of these things. So it just comes as a very big surprise. I also have concern over where the utilities are going to be coming from for this property.
When did you purchase your house?
In 2021.
What month? You remember?
I think we signed April.
Like, is that someone?
Yeah, we signed like at the first week.
Right, so that's
Stamp.
that's after the house was built.
This is this.
Yeah, I know, this thing she has is,
She's provided the board is the, it says final survey and it's stamped. This one is not yours, unfortunately.
I also would love it for there to be some survey sticks posted on the property before more trees and brushry come down. Just some like post sticks for all the lots, the survey sticks.
I mean, that's just a bigger version of what we have. It's
The date on the bottom is the final one. It says the date.
Yeah, that's, you can see it. Correct? So two different angles. That's how I'm talking. There's no Daniel, this is all back to the back. We got a lot. Sometimes they do this. Okay, so. Well, that's not. That's not. But we need.
Obviously, we need was that. Has no bearing on actually.
I know, but we can't vote on that or approve that until we have exactly, like, we have people come in for driveways and all something. Yet, for us to approve something, it has.
Once the map is filed.
Right, it's not. Well, he has to start looking next
As
week.
soon as he can get them to rectify it, I mean, essentially, you're already on the agenda, so
It's not a new application.
Case,
Right,
so you're
so
not.
you don't have, you're not gonna necessarily take it out, as long as you have it to build the opposed.
How is that something that, like, how does the surveyors, the numbers, do they determine which ones are?
Well, I don't know.
Yeah,
The
that's-
numbers here, the drawings are definitely not the same. So that's up to them to go, yeah. They'll figure that out, they'll from post to post and go check the numbers. That's.
I mean, some of that information would be in the deed, your deed would have a description of your needs and bounds around.
Right.
So I think as much background information to, help Andy and Steve's kind of put together.
Well, the deed actually says this, it goes from point A and then it turns 45 degrees and goes 57 feet, point 3, and turns this many degrees. That's what your deed says. So that, yeah, that's what they, so we can't do anything until we have that.
Okay.
Would it take precedence if there's an issue with the line?
So that's a
That's-
review. Right. Once we get the official map here that says what the boundaries are, then we will act on Mr. Burrow's application. If you and Mr. Burrow's have conflict, that's going to be an issue that you're going to deal with outside of this board. We have nothing to do with that. We just can't act on this application knowing that there's a conflicting survey. So we'll get the accurate survey.
And that's what everybody's
Needs-
protecting.
Needs to come, maybe you can even get them to come here and explain it, and then we can act on the lot line adjustment. If there's an issue between the neighbors, that's not a planning board issue.
We purchased that from the city of Palm to originate the property. Wasn't there ever a survey where I have no idea.
That's something that.
In terms of deadlines, in terms of deadlines, as soon as you can get the agencies to give you a stamped map or come to the meeting, we'll act. They don't have to make a reapplication, they're just gonna have to take it.
1 month.
Correct. The first Wednesday.
Can you get an independent, survey?
Pay for it for yourself, yeah, so you have to pay for it yourself.
And what would that cost?
That's.
That's a survey issue, that's not a city issue.
Right now.
Well, because that's an issue between you and the neighbors.
Yeah, so probably what we should do is get you a copy of one of the maps proposals, just try and work through and see if there's a discrepancy or not.
And they did that subdivision, so they should have it. Thanks, yeah. I don't know what I'm saying, but that's not from us.
They're not very late for, taking down the green next.
That's not,
That's
that's
not what
board's
we
purview.
said.
It's not.
That's not what we said. He can do, if he owns that land,
Well, we
he
don't
knows,
know that that's not how you
well, he believes he does.
I own that land.
Question is where exactly is the line?
Where is it? As long as I don't go over to the line, we're very far from it. No, you're not very far from.
We're not, hold on.
It doesn't.
If you're concerned with that, always get a survey from the surveyor, if that's your responsibility, not us, okay? Yep.
Make a motion that table lot line adjustment SD 25-002 for Craig and Cheryl Burrows. Can I get a second? All in favor?
Thank you.
Sorry. Site plan review SB 25-0016, Crisafulli Construction Services LLC, representing the owners of tax account number 309.35-3-1, commonly known as 45 Hudson Avenue, are seeking site plan review to convert an existing building into a corporate dentist office pursuant to the City of Glenville zoning code, chapter 220-17C2. This requires site plan review approval. Architectural review, AR 25007, Crisafulli Construction Services LLC, representing owners of tax map number 309.35-3-1, commonly known as 45 Hudson Avenue, are seeking architectural review to convert an existing building into a dentist office pursuant to City of Glenville zoning code, chapter 220-17D. This requires architectural review approval. Calvin?
My name is Mike Crisafulli Construction Services. We're here on behalf of Adirondack Orthodontists, who are actually a tenant in 88 Broad Street right now. They've entered into a contract to purchase 45 Hudson, which is a vacant medical building, about 6,600 square feet. The intention is to occupy roughly 4,000 square feet and seek a tenant for the rear of the space. Hopefully a medical tenant as well. The plan is to renovate the facade. That's why Neil Palone, the architect, is here. Obviously, it's extensive work on the inside that needs to be done, update signage, lighting, maybe some landscaping and all that stuff. So, building's got plenty of parking, more than enough for medical tenants in the entire building. For the medical corridor, as you were familiar. And yeah, it's essentially looking to move across the parking lot into a building that he owns and rehab it in the process. So, if you have any questions about the tenant, the use, you can ask me. If it's more on the architectural side, I'll turn it over to Neil.
Did you want to present or explain?
I'm happy to talk about the inspection of the building.
My name is Neil Palone. I'm an architect working with Michael and the owner on this building. The idea is to give the building a facelift. The current thinking right now is to reclad the entire building, hopefully new windows. A natural wood siding is what we're thinking, but it could go down to like an Ichiha product or similar. Some of the window pattern changes, they're relatively minor, but all four sides are expected to be facelifted. And just looking to modernize the exterior look a bit, a little Scandi modern look.
I think it would be great to give a facelift to that building.
Yes.
A nice improvement. So are those the color, is that the general range of colors that you're considering?
Yeah, so I mean, we don't have a final price, but the owner liked this look. And again, it's sort of this Scandinavian modern is how I would describe it at this point. So,
Put it on comments.
what is in a good way, well, I guess it's neither here nor there, but it's, that commercial strip doesn't have a lot of context for
It's
historic.
the Scandinavian minimalist aesthetic. And it sounds like that would be yes. And then the horizontal is that clapboard, is that?
So if I have my way, that's wood, so like thermally treated wood product. Again, with the warm tones contrasted with a neutral, that's
Scandinavian minimalist, go all in, otherwise,
don't.
well, right, I mean, you know, the other option is to take a look at the massing of it and say, maybe some corner boards or some copings that one sees, just from an architectural point of view. The precedent there doesn't, you know, I don't think that there's anything to match personally in that.
I guess that's what I was trying to say, or what I was thinking.
Some houses, there's medical buildings,
There's a post office is right across
post
the
office,
street.
I don't think we need to match the post office.
Yeah, so we're thinking the same thing. And to address your earlier comment, the success of this really is going to be in the details. So if it's not going to come together well, we might choose a different material option. But this is the aspiration.
The neutral tones and then horizontal, and then on that one piece, something vertical and very straightforward.
Yeah.
Lighting on the outside?
So they currently have, there's going to be on-building lighting is the plan. There currently is on-building lighting. We're going to replace those, update those. They're like, they're old.
Right, so new, full cutoff.
Yeah, dark sky.
LED wall packs. Yeah. There's no holes in the parking lot, so we're relying on the existing fixtures other than upgrading that to higher LED.
Whatever's on the building is going to be coming off.
Is there going to be any newly visible mechanical equipment on that side of the building?
No, in fact, we want to get rid of some existing split unit condensers and makeshift shanty roofs that exist over there now. There's a screen fence area in the back, near the back entrance of the building. Here on the site, we think that's a good spot to relocate those. That's actually where the building generator is as well as a screen fence. So like these condensers that are in this area, we kind of want to get rid of those. This will be a very visible on this side of the building, and it doesn't work right over there.
This is basically going to be the second tenant's entrance, so we're going to focus on making that approachable. So moving all this equipment.
Over to where
There's a
fence
area.
between the
Yeah.
two properties, right?
Well, the fence extends onto, it's actually part of this property, it comes over, it was created basically to screen the generator, and I think some larger AC condensers as well.
So you're gonna move everything?
Yeah, so we just want to get rid of these that are kind of dotted along the building line.
Are you gonna have a, garbage, dumpster? Thank you.
So, Dr. Bernstein has reached an agreement with Dr. Sani, who's his landlord now, owns 80 Broad. The existing dumpsters that are here on the parking lot of Dr. Sani's lot, they're going to share those. So, he's not actually going to be putting any new dumpsters on the site, or these sites, I should say.
So the dumpsters that are there are gonna stay there where they are, is that what you're?
That's my understanding. They belong to Dr. Sani, and they're going to continue to just use those. So we're not
Okay, so
going
you're not adding any to the site?
Yes. Yeah.
I don't have any other questions or comments.
You said we haven't selected the material yet, so are we approved?
The general rule.
So do we have to have material? Do we have to have more detail? Yeah.
And you show that on the drawing.
So if we give you some materials now, and then we can change them to match for that.
We're getting kind of beat up here with projects, we're getting started, things are getting changed. So we kind of need to know where they're going.
If you have budget, so, and I understand how it is, like, you know, Michi versus cement board siding, so whatever. I mean, if there is, and some of these you think this is reasonable or not reasonable, but if you're looking at a couple of different siding trips, right, and you say, okay, here's what we want, but we may have to value engineer it back to this.
This is the general one.
And, you know,
Yeah.
and I think understanding the color, for example, is, that's
I
what
think the color we can commit to, I think it's just the actual products that we haven't gone that far. I mean, to get through the design and pricing, contractors involved, it's just, where do you start on that anyway? Or it's this matched, you know what I mean?
Right.
But you know, you don't necessarily have to come back if you can identify the colors and types of projects.
Well, they have like, that this is what we want, but realistically, what I'm hearing, it might be something different for budget reasons.
Yeah.
And then if you show us this are the colors. I don't want you to have to go back, right? Is that kind of like-
Well, because Karen, because the choice of materials are very different, is what we're talking about, just for budgetary reasons. There's an element to wood versus something different, which is fine.
Well, I just procedurally ask for approval based on this.
Sure, yeah. Well, let's put it this way, so let's say this doesn't work, and you go to, what would you go to?
Oh, like Nietzsche, like, so my first is thermally treated like real wood.
Right.
And then down to metal and Nietzsche on.
Okay.
And then after that is
You just, so then, in terms of that, what you're calling out is dark on the facade, that would be this material, like, you end up having to substitute this with a different material, but it's still be the same. That's what
Yeah,
you're.
color palettes,
the palettes.
yeah, question, how do we achieve it, is what we're not exactly.
That's what I'm saying.
That's why I was asking about the general plans. Which, you know.
Great for years.
It'll be.
Oh,
So I guess the question is.
well, I guess that's the other brings up a question for me, like, does the change in materials change the look of how it's installed? Like, you're showing linear lines, and then you're showing, I can't tell if it's brick or if it's just a siding, is that
That's
siding?
siding.
Right, so if you go from, this material is your preference, but then you downgrade, I don't need to use that, but if you go to something less expensive, is it still going to look like that siding in that color?
It's still a vertical pattern.
Yeah,
covering
that's
up
the
the
question.
older brick.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think that's the change, right, that's what we're trying to do.
Right.
We need it to look like that, whether it's wood or cement or.
Correct. So the board could go, approve it with the colors and how it's presented, that's the look. Vertical siding, or black horizontal, and then if it changes, whether it's the wood or the, what is it?
Nietzsche has a brand of cement.
Cement board, right? You can approve them.
Right. In other words, what we're saying is, you know, if and Karen's point is a very good one. Obviously, if we have to, for budget reasons, change the material, but what we read as clapboard siding there suddenly becomes big panels, that's not.
Yeah, I think we can stick within that,
Right.
the confines of those rules, with that parameter, those parameters, yeah, that's fine.
Does that answer your question?
So, so as long as you're aware of any changes, have to come back to the board before you implement it.
If it's a major impact.
I say the material change, right, as far as material.
Right, same. You guys know how this goes, right? We can't go too far until we know we can do something.
Yeah.
So let's just say we approve this, it goes back to the owner, Mike's gonna price it, owner's gonna pull out his hair, whatever, and then.
Just also to potentially alleviate concerns here, whatever plans they submit for building, we will assure that they match the architectural plans.
Right.
Right.
And we won't issue permits unless they do. So that like awesome.
Now, procedurally, though, we don't want, we can, in an effort to get this going, can we submit alternative revision?
Yeah, so you can build the stages. Yeah, you can't plan the stages. So I will tell you.
Or what we're approving is the aesthetic that he's presenting and what looks, those horizontal lines, that looks like cloud siding, that could be cement board, that could be wood. We can say we don't want it to define it.
Correct, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So we can say, that's a cement board,
What?
that section, and the other section is cement board. So in other words, she doesn't have to make sure.
Right.
We're given an option.
Yes. Other municipalities have done like an administrative change or approval or consent agenda approval where you don't have to, it's just if anyone has a problem,
Oh, that's other maybe.
yeah, that's all.
But yes, and I think this also speaks to what Karen was saying, was if the approval is this look, this color palette, could be wood, could be cement board, and we can say button up, for example. You know, I think that those seem like reasonable restrictions.
So I have another question, it's not taking up too much time. If we were to hypothetically do nothing to the outside, just to our interior fit in, what happens? That's what we would be presenting to you. Would you try to break it all and we could change glass and clean it? In this hypothetical exercise,
Right.
literally nothing. Like would we even have to come?
Yes, you still have to come for site plan review, but if you're not making changes to the exterior, you would not have architectural.
So
We want to move forward, regardless, we want to move forward with the interior renovation with the exterior rentals, CBD, I guess.
Or we can take the strategy that we discussed, where we can, I don't think we do. Again, that's the aesthetic, that's the look that we're all looking at right now. In that color palette.
Yeah, absolutely.
So.
Yeah, that's great.
And he's showing us the colors right there, if anyone wants to pass them around.
Yeah.
So you're saying we're gonna have like two options, because I'm like you, I don't want to go back and say we get in the final.
Well, that's, no, right, that's the exact point, is what they're presenting to us is what they're saying they want to build, that those the horizontal siding there could be wood, or it could be cement board, but in that color. If he's not, we're not saying if you can't afford the wood, you get to put great big vertical panels that do nothing like what we're approving. We are approving the image there, if we approve it. In the color palette, and we can.
I think we can move with that, and I think we understand that if there's going to be a bigger change, we
Yeah.
can just schedule that.
Right.
The important part of the project is to get the interior rental building, get it in there, the outside work, if it delays another meeting or whatever.
No, but we could do an approval on what we're seeing right now, and then you have us come back next month with the hard stuff. You have a month to price it, research it, you can start work.
Yeah, I think we're just trying to get comfortable with the language around that amongst stuff.
Yeah, we can move with that.
But you could give you a part, like a partial approval to start renovating, but we're come back next month. You've got a month to.
Is there any way to not come back? What I was saying was going back.
No.
Well.
Shouldn't have heard that.
Okay, when I misheard.
What we were talking about was we will give, the board could give an approval with these colors, and it's either wood or cement board, no vinyl.
That's fine. Let's agree with that. Yeah. Like if we had to deviate, we understand what that means and coming back. So that's
Right.
Everybody
Yeah,
happy?
based on the look that you're
Yes.
presenting to us.
Yeah. These windows are all enlarged for the auditories and everything. See, these are larger than they are now. That's going to happen regardless. So hopefully that is part of the interior renovation aspect. You guys are okay with that. The siding will be that's what we're all doing right now. You know?
Wood or cement.
Right,
And
right.
you have samples, colors. It looks like it's dark blackish.
That one's a black, it might go a little bit more gray. I shouldn't say that, let's just do what's on the table. This is, I mean, you want product names?
No.
So that's the sort of analog there. Don't really have analog for that. We prefer to use real wood. Usually the dark goes each one is wood. I don't have window design. So if you guys can flex it, same.
Mr. Major?
Are you going to differentiate the roof? I mean, the turret roof? So the asphalt shingle, right now the idea is to change the color. So that's, right now it's orange. So like it's
Mr. Trimble, describe the answer to that.
Oh, I have a question. So, this is special use aspect of this is for the medical use. If in fact he finds a medical tenant, like an oral surgeon, is that covered? So that's covered, no more meetings. A general office.
That would be building code. That's not building code.
I would think so, I mean, that's what. If the tenant that he eventually finds for the back is also a medical tenant, or let's say a general office tenant, are we good to avoid future meetings?
You'll need to file a change of occupancy, change of use.
Yeah.
But yes, in that addition, I see no
Or what's
reason.
not before them?
I see no reason why you would need site plan approval.
No.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Great.
With that being said, if it's drastically different use, that may lead to a different interpretation.
Right, retail or something.
Just something completely out of the medical field and something completely different than what we
Drive-through, fast food.
Yeah, so
You'll get it.
Yeah, we see
give us a call.
medical office or general office.
Yes,
Really is what-
medical or
yeah.
general office.
Yes.
Right, that's what we're looking for. Right, okay.
Seeker? With respect to seeker, I would classify this as an unlisted action. The applicant has completed part one. The board is required to move to part two, short environmental assessment form. Number one, will the proposed action create material conflict with an adopted land use plan or zoning regulation? No. Will the proposed action result in a change in the use or intensity of the use of the land? No. Will the proposed action impair the character or quality of the No. Will the proposed action have an impact on the environmental characteristics that cause the establishment of a critical environmental area? No. Will the proposed action result in an adverse change in existing level of traffic or affect existing infrastructure for mass transit, biking, or walkway? No. Will the proposed action create an increase in the use of energy and fails to incorporate reasonably available energy conservation or renewable energy opportunities? No. Will the proposed action impact existing public-private water supplies? No. Public-private wastewater treatment utilities? No. Will the proposed action impair the character or quality of important historic, archaeological, architectural, or aesthetic resources? No. Will the proposed action result in an adverse change to natural resources such as wetlands, water bodies, groundwater, air quality, flora, or fauna? No. Will the proposed action result in an increase in the potential for erosion, flooding, or drainage problems? No. Will the proposed action create a hazard to environmental resources or human health? No. Based upon the board's review of part two, the board could issue a negative seeker declaration.
I'd like to make a motion that the Glens Falls Planning Board hereby accepts the lead agency status for Chris Fuller Construction Services LLC, representing owners of tax map number 309.35-1 one, located at 45 through 56 South Street. 45 Hudson. The board has determined the action to be a type unlisted action as reviewed, the short form, environmental assessment form, and upon documentation and discussion, issues a negative declaration. Second. All in favor? Architectural site plan review. I would like to make a motion that the Glens Falls Planning Board, acting as the Board of Architectural Site Plan Review, hereby grant architectural site plan approval for the project identified as AR 25-007 with the following stipulations that we use wood or cement board, no vinyl, keep the colors as they are, and if any major changes occur, come back to us. For the project identified as 45 Hudson Avenue, it's located at 45 Hudson Avenue, as presented to at the meeting of September 3rd, 2025. Second? Second. All in favor? Aye.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, 30 minutes.
Encroachment permit, patent property improvement, just on tax map number 309.28-2-6, commonly known as 46 through 56 South Street, seeking encroachment permit for a curb cut for access to a loading garbage removal door entrance pursuant to the City of Glens Falls zoning code, chapter 189-16. This will require an advisory opinion from the planning board to the common council.
Thank you all. Appreciate it. As you know, the project's this project is ongoing across the street here, and on the original drawing, we had shown a door opening for the large opening that was on the back section by Elm Street. Again, when we first came to you with the project, there's things that really weren't established. In all hopes, we were going to provide a couple of restaurants and some commercial spaces. But as the project developed, we did link up with a team that is going to be bringing a restaurant in there, and so that back door became essential. And for a couple of things, we also really didn't have. I don't know if we had in the original plan the garbages located in there, but so we did. So again, we knew the garbages were going to be there, but we also had a restaurant that came up, and so we'll have a delivery service for any like kegs or food delivery, and so that's going to be a door that's going to be used primarily, and it's nice because it's on Elm Street. We don't have trucks stopping on South Street. It's a great little pocket there that they're able to stop right kind of out in front of Hank's Quality Pouring and then load things and get right out of the way. So they'll be off the main strip.
Part of the issue was when Elm Street was redone, at least that end of Elm Street was redone, they added curves along there. There were never curves there before. They added the curving and put the curve right across the front of the door that was there.
Yeah, I talked to Jeremy as well about that. I mean, to say that's their fault isn't really.
It's not a fault issue. It's just it wasn't thought.
Well, that door hadn't been used in.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. When the condition that the building was in.
Right.
So you're looking for a curb cut right here, right?
That's correct. Yeah, right directly.
Right
where this door is.
So your deliveries don't have to come.
That's right. Because we have that issue, at the Southpaw restaurant, even with that little alley there, it's a challenge. It's not a challenge for 9 months out of the year, but when you have those ice storms and everything, even if there's a little lip, those little pallet jacks that are automated electric, they just can't get up that. So I mean, I actually asked for permission from Jeremy to be able to file that curb down or grind that curb down there at Southpaw just to alleviate that situation there as well. So Yeah, even, it was only like a little 2-inch curve, and again, I'm asking for forgiveness because I already did. Excuse me?
How wide is that door? That 13 feet you're looking for the curb cut.
Yeah, so,
You're not driving vehicles in there.
no,
are
no,
you?
no, it's,
You're
the door's
wheeling
open.
things in, is that what you're looking for?
Yeah,
Yeah, to be able
Hand
to,
trucks and
Correct.
stuff?
and to be able to flare the sides of it, because we just don't want it to be a direct
Right,
drop.
right, yeah.
Yep.
and also there'd be, correct, and there's garbages, so that's kind of a nice thing, even though nobody wants garbage in their building, I'm creating in that little pocket there, you know, a fully ventilated room. It has, you know, a floor drain, it'll be all cleaned out, it's all brand new concrete in there, so we'll be rolling in and out of there 2, I believe, 4-yard plastic dumpsters, you know, with the large wheels, so that'll be a service that Casella Waste does. They'll pull up, open those double doors, bring the garbages out from all of the building and the restaurants, and then actually, you know, dump that and then be on their way. But that's how we got any garbage on the property, because there's no land, as you all know.
Practical.
Yes.
If that's how that door is going to function, it seems practical.
Is there anybody from the community who'd like to speak on this? Mr. Sherman? Mr. Manager?
Makes sense.
Makes sense. Mr. Reed? Ian?
Makes sense?
I really don't have an issue with it. It all makes sense. I mean, it's a good way to handle all those things for that building.
Shall we make a recommendation?
To the advisory.
Yeah, advisory opinion to the common council.
So I'd like to make an advisory opinion, a motion that Glens Falls Planning Board hereby submits the following advisory opinion to the DDA Common Council, that the curb cut should be allowed at this entrance on Elm Street, enter the building at 46 and 56 South Street for service entrance. Should look with favor on this application of Chris Patton property development, with variance, etc., whatever we need to make that curb cut happen. Please, the planning board, make that recommendation. Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Patton Property Management, owners of tax map number 309.25-2-6, company known as 46 through 56 South Street, is seeking architectural review after the exterior facade of the existing building pursuant to City of Glens Falls zoning code chapter 220-19E. This will require architectural review and approval.
Good evening again, my name is Ethan Hall, I'm here with Chris Patton. A couple of changes that have been made to the building, that the building department asked us to bring forward to you so that we can get those things cleared up. This is the original approval set of drawings, when we can literally look across the street and see the change that was made. What our intent was originally was that the canopy that's there was going to be individual to each one of the apartments, or each one of the tenant spaces. As Chris got to working on the building, they found out that the way the brick cornice was, they couldn't break it up that way. So it was easier to bring the canopy running all the way across the facade of the building. It had been our intent that would be turned down the side of the building and just be flat. He turned it around the building and brought it down just to make it match. So aesthetically, the canopy runs around the building and matches on both sides of the street side. The other change that was made was from brown to black. You can see the picture that we did across the street, you can see it. We did change some window configurations as well, just to fit tenant, to do tenant fit ups. So basically, what's been done is what we've shown on the second drawing versus what was on the original.
In addition, to the reason being for the awning, just so everyone is fully aware. While we were up there on the scissor lifts throughout the last few months, above that beam, we found that the there were 3 layers of brick that were stacked on top of each other, and they stepped back about 3/4 of an inch. And I'd say about 35% of those bricks were in good shape. The other 70%, because of that shelf, it actually, you know, water got on it, sat on it, you know, it just, you know, expanded and froze and cracked. And so, you know, as a part to not only just, we didn't just make this because we wanted to. I mean, it also hid the big steel beam that had all kinds of welded things on there. And it was, you know, rusty in that nature. And then the brick itself, it was just beyond repair. And there was, you know, there's an entire building that's above it. So we did what we could. You know, we remortised some things and made it structurally sound, and then built that over to kind of encapsulate some of that damaged, beyond repair brickwork.
You can go back to the first original. You said the original intent was to have individual.
Each one of them would have, if you look at the side view, you can see the orchard that was on there. They got indicated on the side here.
I did not keep my original packet from way back when.
I have. This is
Yes, so I was having to.
So basically you have individual pieces in between.
Those are fabric awnings like what you see up and down, right?
They were going to be awnings, they were going to be built-in awnings. But they discontinued that to brick.
In between
In
the.
between brick. And as I said, when you got up there and started doing the work, that's how we got it indicated there, that it meant to be flat on the side. And as you got up in there and started looking at the repair work, the way the corbelling of the brick had sat there, all the water came down and just sat there and was working its way back under. It actually started to deteriorate the steel beam.
Yeah, so, I mean, there was a few reasons I made that choice, and honestly, to ask for, you know, forgiveness again, I think I have this history, and I mean to be better about that. You know, I've talked to the mayor quite a bit, and also the city officials, but, you know, this was a decision that I made because I thought it was absolutely beautiful, and I hope that you guys all share that opinion. And I'd say probably 5,000 people have told me the same thing. It's probably one of the nicest features that we've, you know, put on the building. It really breaks up the top from the bottom, and obviously I didn't use any cheap products. I used custom slates to tie in the historic kitchen. The board is black. Yeah, it's black. So it's all fired and you can see it. And then there's it'll be wrapped. Yep. And then there'll be, I bought really nice high-end, like a luxurious style LED, you know, recess fixture that's black and square, and I actually paid for aluminum soffit to be installed up underneath there, so it's not wavy and floppy in 10 years. I built it to last forever. Solid aluminum soffit, and then, you know, like it's almost $30 per fixture for a nice recess trim light. It's LED, and it's going to look like, you know, state of the art. It's going to be beautiful.
The other thing I want to point out that has been done, we have the sign, the tenant signs for each space that we're showing. It's flat against the facade. The way this is actually done and installed, and it's real easy to see it. There's a board that's above each door. There's a mounting board that's above each door. And it's actually going to be perpendicular to the street, so that as you're walking up and down the street, you can see it from being across the street. It really makes sense when you're walking. You know, the way the head was originally set up. If you're walking down the street, it's flat on the facade, and you can walk right by it. Whereas these are going to be underneath the awning, perpendicular to the street.
Have you dug into the sign code to make sure that they?
We have.
Yes.
We have not talked about it. Of course, yeah.
Yeah,
We're conforming.
When we get to that point, we stop and we can talk to them.
We're conforming with the neighboring properties as well. That's the same way the golden monkeys shown here, and then the other taco place and stuff. Everything's kind of out that way. And I want to keep, just for you, I'm going to try to keep everything as uniform as possible. Signage, sizing, and things. You know, with nice arms and just hang a nice, beautiful sign, just like Burlington, Church Street, those kind of places. This also provides a spot for me to actually suspend, you know, like a quality camera. And the city of Glens Falls has used my camera footage many times whenever they have accidents and things at street corners that are showing my buildings. This will have, I think we have, don't quote me, but I believe there are 6 exterior cameras that face in every different direction and cover the entire perimeter of that property. It'll all be DVR recorded and available. So it'll be lit. Yeah, and so Nina, this is to you specifically. I remember talking to you about your request. You were very much adamant about not tying or not changing the color of the brick columns from that blue. You made sure you were, you wanted to make sure, and you wanted to make sure that I painted those columns blue to match the upper so it tied the two buildings together. So I made sure that I did that as a primary request of yours. And then I didn't actually have a submittal on any product in between the windows and in between the columns. So that's why I went with a brick or a stone, obviously. And, you know, again, it was shown brown in the conceptual drawing, but, you know, this is kind of like a brownstone. It's a brownstone charcoal. I mean, it's not like I was trying to bait and switch any products. I used a very high-end luxury stone. I got it.
And I remember the conversation about how the bottom was going to be clad very specifically as well. But backing up, the very first time I presented the project to the Glens Falls Planning Board, Ethan was the chairman. And he said to me, you know, you have to build what you're showing us. And yes, that's true. Now, I understand the construction rationale behind why you changed the awning to your comment on the stone base, we actually very specifically talked about not putting stone.
Not putting white stone, not stone
putting
specifically.
stone there. That was what we discussed.
Oh, is it in the
That was
minutes?
exactly what
Okay.
was said. I think, and maybe we need to make sure that when the letters are sent out, that they are clear, but I think they are. So we can't just go on memory. I guess the larger point I want to make is you've now been developing in this city for a while. You've got a track record here and you've got a body of work. So when somebody else comes in and says, I want to start building in Glens Falls, I want to develop, they're going to look to you because you are now really doing this. You have a substantial portfolio. How does Chris Patton do it?
Putting together quality projects and taking over buildings
Yes,
that are run down.
and I should open by saying, thank goodness that building no longer looks the way it has looked for decades. Thank goodness. But I think since you are doing so much work here, I feel like Glens Falls and you and us should be partners, and I feel like there's a disconnect. And what I don't like is the fact that, as you said, you did some stuff at odds with the conditions of your approval. Do it now and ask for forgiveness later can't be how it works, especially if people are looking to you. How does Chris Patton develop and do things in Glens Falls? Because we can't have that. That's my opinion.
I already got yelled at by the building department quite a bit.
Right, and it's important because that's the reason.
Yeah, I hear you. So if it makes sense in a constructional standpoint, then I can make the change? No, I need to make a change altogether.
Well, you saw what,
I get it.
I don't know if you were watching our last applicant, but they were 100% sure what their exterior material was going to be.
Right.
However, there was a look and a color palette and massing things, and it's either going to be this or it's going to be this, but it's got to look like the picture. Which is exactly what you said to me. Or you come back and say, look, man, this whole thing is rotted out, and
Yep.
I've got to do something. Here's what I propose in keeping with the essence of how you approved, or the spirit of how you approved the application.
Yeah, but I can tell you right now, that conversation that we had did not come along with it, a submittal for that product. Whether you said cladding or whatever, I honestly didn't give you a submittal,
No,
so
you
that
did
should be
not.
a requirement of the.
Stone, and I'm not going to nickel and
No, I'm not. I'm just saying, I should have given you a submittal on that.
The larger issue is, so for example, I understand your justification for changing window patterns, it's to reflect my
Right.
might be going on inside, but we had a pretty in-depth conversation about the historical precedent for the big open storefronts all along here and around the corner, and so we approved a picture that looked like that. We approved a picture that looked like that. That's all, we gotta go on, you showed us something and then you changed it. Is it good change, is it a bad change? That's kind of from this point. You understand?
Oh, I know, like I said, I've already gotten my, I've got my
I'm saying-
lashings.
I'm saying here, for the record, so I'm not going to weigh in on your architectural changes per se, other than the fact that,
You don't like the way it looks?
that's my architectural opinion, you know what?
I was
though?
just
It's too late.
I was just asking.
And that's the issue.
I was just asking what your
It's
opinion
too
is.
late. Had you come to us, we would have had a discussion about it, right?
I hear you. I was just asking what your opinion was. Do you not like the way it looks?
I don't like the way it looks. I
Okay.
think it looks like a strip mall.
A strip mall.
But that's my opinion. Now, it maybe when you get a nice black metal edge on there, it'll tone it down.
A strip mall.
But
9 months. That's
that's
what you call my
okay.
project.
But you don't have to agree with me.
I don't.
And the board doesn't have to agree with me either, but I'm referring to simply just the awning. But the point is, that doesn't mean that you couldn't build it that way. I don't vote, right? I don't vote on this board. You asked my thought. But my opinion is simply that we've lost the process, that's all. And I think it would be so much better if we all worked hand in hand, you know, collaboratively on the really big things that you're doing in this city.
Sure.
Because it's beautiful.
Thanks.
It is.
How about the back siding color? We didn't have a submittal on that. You didn't like it? We didn't give you a submittal on it, but we did whatever I wanted. But you're not weighing the opinion of the back of the side of the building because everybody likes it. So the back of the building didn't matter to you, but now the front does. I mean, come on.
No.
I'm at my wits end here. I don't know how long I can stand here and listen to you. I apologize.
No, and I'm done.
I'm done
I
listening
only
to you.
speak for myself.
I put my blood, sweat, and tears. What have you done in the city?
Chris,
No.
it's beautiful, but I'm
No, it's not beautiful. You think it's ugly. You think I made a bad choice, and you don't like it. Strip mall.
We talked about this.
Sweating. I can't listen to
You
you.
called me, and to go with what you said about the disconnection. You're doing all those projects.
I just said it. I admitted it. If I make a change from the drawings from now on, I'll come to you. But I can tell you.
That's all I said, you gotta communicate.
I get it.
We're all in this together.
And there needs to be a better submittal process for if we're gonna have an argument about a product on anything, there needs to be a submittal for each and everything. A submittal for that interior facade, whether you call it clapboard or whatever. I didn't give you a submittal on it, so there was nothing for me to go with. I'm just saying, the submittal process at the Glens Planning Board should be a little better.
Stop, please stop. It should not be a dialogue between our architect and the applicant. The board can discuss this. Nina has said her piece.
Mr. Chairman, I wasn't on the board, back to this originally, but I can see we make a change, and I think you're aware of that. I think you're aware of that. One thing I think that I'm not sure, because I'd have to go back and but that's a 40 and a 13 sprinkler building.
Yes, it is.
Maybe sprinklers in the office, because it's also lines. So you might get extra sprinklers.
We already talked to,
Dry heads.
Yes. Northeast fire protection.
Okay, yeah, I know the size and stuff, but I believe that would require some of those windows. So I believe garden requires a sprinkler heads probably at 100%.
I'll check it.
Just something about it. That's all I have. Like I said, I wasn't here when we originally did it. I can see kind of the board's dismay. It went up completely different than it was originally. I understand that. Because I would probably be in the same situation if I was before that time we did clear understanding. Some of the stuff I can understand and may not understand, but based off of diagrams and we showed the versus today, definitely understands. Obvious.
I agree. It wasn't a bait, so to say.
No, I understand. Like I said, I mean, you got anything there you know, it's not a new application, so I believe they get on board pretty quickly. It's just a peer review, in case of another review, so it's not like the process is kind of slow.
I'll go along with you as far as the lesson learned. I have a lot of respect for you and what you've done with your work. I think your expertise is in historical renovation. I really do, but like I say, you've got a lot going on, and you're young, and I think you're going to have a hell of a lot more going on. And like I say, we're just looking for some kind of communication.
Yeah.
Like I say, and ask for good news to happen. Glens Falls has gone through, I've lived here my entire life. I think I'm 69 years old. We've got the biggest growing pains and the biggest growth we've ever had. And I think developers got to get used to the fact that we don't have new sheriffs in town, but we finally have sheriffs in town. We got a building and codes department that's a full staff. All right. The same people were bitching that there was a wild west, you do whatever you want, and now mention the fact we got people that are enforcing the laws. And like I say, so it's close. So I don't want you to think that we're against you. But like I say, my latest thing, I'm almost reluctant to bring it up. I've had more people call me about the lights on the roof, which I don't remember any conversation.
No, I know, as long as you brought this up, is there LED lights on this roof?
Yes, there is.
On the corbels, to illuminate the corbels?
Yeah.
Not all the way around.
Just on the base and the side.
Are you kidding me?
We'll have to go back to the planning board with that?
Yes.
Yeah. We've got Trustco coming in, they spent like 30 grand, and they're coming. I'm not voting for it. Yeah, you can't just throw something like that up there and change the whole look of the street.
Accent lighting.
I know.
You guys said it was in the original.
The approval was with the other. It's in the
No one ever talked
It's in
about
the
that.
original
That's
approval.
anything.
I said, if it's in the original approval, then
Right.
that's what you guys approved. Is it on plans?
When it said we were BJ, I said, is that in there? He said, yeah, it's in the original approval. I said, okay.
No. You guys said
The
it.
original plans, and you met with PJ, and he said it was in the plans for the accent lighting?
They were showing lower, they were like halfway up on the brick building.
Yeah, that's not wrapped around the top of the building. That's two totally different animals. You know, like what Peter Hoffman has on his building over there, the little accent lighting, not a Vegas neon light around the top of the building.
It's capable of anything, but it's also just, you can put one light every 6 feet.
I have not seen them yet.
I don't have any problem with them yet. They were only, I hooked them up for one day, and this was trying everything.
Well, there's a lot of people who
That's temporary.
I've seen the video. So
Yeah,
they
I
are.
said the video screen there, I said,
They
this
are
is
working. I'm thinking maybe you want to try to link it on that. That's cool, but it's something, you got to accept the fact that we're starting to see a pattern.
Yeah, no, I get it.
We're in the food industry.
Really, it was about providing lights for Christmas, and that's what that was all about. I mean, it's Christmas lighting. Just like Peter Hoffman has one of the most nicest buildings down there that has the ability to do red and green for the season, and it doesn't have to be the mega strip mall. It's just red and green lights, so it's an accent. It's beautiful for downtown. It's a Christmas feature. I mean, honestly, I didn't really think you to put Christmas lights on your house. I don't know. The fact that they can do all those crazy things, I'm not saying that that's what I plan to do with them. They just have, 4,000 options, and one of the options is, one light every 6 feet. And then during Christmas, I can, with my phone, go red and green. It's going to be the most beautiful building downtown. I mean, I didn't know I had to get that from you.
I mean, you gotta remember, there's a lot of homecomers that Glens Falls downtown is not ready for neon.
No, it's not neon at all.
It never will be. And like I say, that's something that,
No, it's not.
but on the same token, we're also trying to, just like Artie said about Trustco, they spent $20,000 to $30,000 and they may not be abused. We're trying to prevent you from being the same circumstance.
Gotcha. No, they're already up. I'll keep them off if I have to, but for Christmas time, that's what I did them for.
But I think we're approaching the point as a board that we're gonna have stuff like that. We're already up and they already work. We're gonna try to
So I guess I have a question. And the question is, can we legally authorize this after we've already given approval?
We've classified it, as a written hearing, when there's a change in circumstance and new information with respect to a particular site plan application. Or on a motion to be made by any of the members for the hearing. That's, we've done in the past.
Is the new information before it's done or after it's done?
It's a change in circumstance, or, it doesn't say and, it says there is a change in circumstances or information with respect to a particular site plan application.
So, from my perspective, I understand the canopy. I mean, you had a structural problem, you had to fix it. I guess I don't understand the windows and the changing of the color from black to brown. So I'm conflicted. So part of it, I understand. You're a contractor and the building's falling apart, you gotta fix it. There's no
The
question.
windows are changed because we actually lined up commercial tenants. When we come to you a year and a half ago, we don't even have a discussion with a single commercial tenant. As the building starts to come together, starts to look beautiful, I have people approach me, they may want to put a restaurant in or other commercial spaces in which those facades change for their needs. That's the reason for the window change.
Mr. Morphus, I will say it's not unusual for us to allow slight departures from architectural review for commercial fit-ups for tenants in our office. So that's not against precedent by any means in regards to the windows.
I only had 2 restaurants when I came to you a year and a half ago. Now I have 2 restaurants going in.
And so you have to meet fire codes for the restaurants, you have to change your, put in hoods and vents and do all the inspections, and the fire department's approved all that.
We're working with
They're all, everything's been submitted to the building department.
We have everything covered?
I have a question for Devin.
Sure. Hi.
Because this is architectural review, it doesn't fall under site plan. So do neighbors get notified for architectural review or no?
It's not necessary for New York State to.
Right, we don't notify.
It is site plan and subdivision. Sorry. It's probably why Aaron's not here tonight.
My only thought with that was for the future, when it's a change like that, with it being architectural review, because it's not site plan and because people don't need to be notified for future contractors, if there is something major, would there kind of be a little more leeway on getting on to planning board versus having to, does that make sense?
I think it's a discretionary call on the building department.
Okay.
We did work with Chris to get him here today so that he could continue to move forward with this project, and we did provide him with some leeway on certain scenarios. But again,
I just need deadline, that's all, yeah.
well, again, it depends on the circumstances. In this case scenario, it was we did it, and now we're asking for forgiveness instead of permission.
Not necessarily with this project, but future projects such as this, of hey, if there is any major change, we have a bigger window of being able to maybe get you back in front of the board sooner than later.
Depending on how quickly they can produce the materials
Right.
and how quickly I can give the board time to review that.
Right,
I'd like
of
to
course.
give everyone adequate time to review materials. And also the submission materials, I often, Ethan will tell you, I will ask for more upon a first submission.
Yeah.
So yes, in that sense, because notice is there, it is possible in extraordinary circumstances, but our office does treat deadlines pretty firmly.
I think it looks awesome. I think it's going to be a great solution downtown. I'm going to say that I don't know about the whole thing. What you did on the other corner over here is just, it stands out. It really was one of the first buildings that was done. And it was really a statement in the right direction. You own that building. The reason why I'm having a hard time, and just like the rest of it looks great. Just, I beg you to communicate with us. I want you to do what I truly, truly do. doing is communicating with us. You know, no one's, like I said to you on the phone, there's a responsibility that we're supposed to have to protect you as an investor and not have someone come in and throw something up next to you that's crap or that doesn't fit. And that's supposed to be what our responsibility is. You know?
I agree with this building.
So, yeah, this, you know, this building sitting here like this, I go back, you go to Prague, one of the oldest cities that was never bombed during any of the wars, and there's a building very reminiscent of this, right in the middle of 2,000-year-old buildings, right on the river. So it does break up the architecture and make it a little different. You know, does it really fit here? I don't know. We'll just old building, but it breaks it up so it's not monotonous and we have a bunch of old buildings. So it seems like everybody's kind of aired their thoughts here. I don't want to say this because we're not. We want you to do the right thing. Just work, please work with us.
Yeah, you guys are a huge change here. From when I did the building at the corner of 276 Glen, it's a whole different environment. So I mean, yeah, it's us adjusting. And I can tell you, I'm not one of those guys that was like, super pumped to work in the Wild Wild West. I was actually more keen to work in Queensbury because they were more strict, but they were strict to everybody, and you didn't get away with anything. And yeah, in the city of Glens Falls, it's about who you knew, and that was not the right way to go. I didn't like working here in the city because I don't like getting away with things. And as I mentioned before, this isn't a bait and switch tactic. If I was trying to take something from this building and save some money, this is me spending $100,000, hundreds of thousands. If I did clapboard wood siding, I would have saved so much money. But that's not my game. I like to provide things that are going to last forever. My kids are going to see this building. It does not look like a strip mall.
No. So, Chris, yeah, go on. The whole building is gorgeous, you know?
I'm just guessing.
Because we have a big one coming next month, trust me. Yeah. And I don't know if any of you people have seen those things on, but that is a big issue. Have you seen it?
I have not. They're lined up.
They're serious. It's Hard Rock Cafe.
You're not approving lights, you're approving architectural review for the dark gray stone substituted for the brown beige panels, and the sign placards installed perpendicular, whatever he said here in this application, that's what you're approving. And lights aren't on here, and that's between him and the building and codes department, if they say it was in the original plan.
Can I ask a contextual question here, just for opinion
Chris,
of this planning board?
So you have the capabilities.
Say we determine that they were not a part. Sorry. So say we determined they were not a part of the original submission. I'm not saying they were. I have to go back. I don't know. If we don't do a temporary light permit in this city, if Mr. Patton wanted to display red and green Christmas lights during the Christmas months, are we going to feel that's departing from the architectural review?
No.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify. I absolutely agree. I just wanted
And accent lighting, like Hoffman and other buildings have, like the Queensbury Hotel. So
those lights, they have, they're very expensive. I'm not gonna tell you what I spent, but not exactly what Trusco spent. Regardless, I mean, they're there to provide accent. They're not, yes, they have the capability of going neon and green out. Would I ever put them up that way? Absolutely not. I don't want that either. That would be ruining my building. So, no, maybe a tea light every 6. I have them in my house. They're beautiful. I have them on all year round. They're super nice.
Well, it's a big thing for us that those lights have changed so much in the last 2 or 3 years.
Right, yeah, I agree.
So it's something that now it's going to be another thing that we're going to have to deal with.
You might as well follow the trust.
So your approval tonight is for the change in the awning, the dark gray stone substituted for the brown beige panels, the sign placards perpendicular, and the window size change. That's what you're getting approval for tonight.
If these guys vote.
If they.
And I can tell you one more thing. We are just about done. There will be no changes. This is it. I'm done with the exterior.
Well, it's not yet.
So this is it.
It's finished.
I'm not cutting any more curves.
We're going over here next.
I'm gonna be following that quite well. I got the Nietzsche panels.
When you have issues and things come up, same thing, you have the other project.
I
And
want
listen,
to
we're in your corner. Just communicate.
actually, speaking of lighting, the parapets that are, extended above the rooftop, I want to put accent lighting on those parapets. I think that's going to make that building stand out architecturally. It's going to be beautiful. It'll show the different cornices and different levels. And then on the point sign, where it says the point at 10 Broad Street, I'd like to backlight that. So, I'll come back with exactly.
Those are great ideas.
Great ideas.
Those are great ideas.
And it's not the same,
What would the other?
But you saw what I showed.
No, that's ridiculous. Yeah, I don't think we should be able to do that stuff, for sure. That's a neon light, everybody's got to stare at it.
That's it.
So there needs to be a motion for architectural review.
I would like to make a motion that the Glens Planning Board, acting as Board of Architectural Review, hereby grant architectural approval for the project identified as patent property management, located at 46 through 56 South Street, approved as presented at the meeting on September 3rd, 2025. I get a second? All in favor?
Sorry.
Thank you.
It'll be better.
Make a motion to adjourn. Make a second.
Thank you.